Why get all your holiday decorations delivered through Instacart? Because maybe you only bought 2 wreaths, but have 12 windows. Or maybe your toddler got very eager with the advent calendar. Or maybe the inflatable snowman didn't make it through the snowstorm. Or maybe the twinkle lights aren't twinkling. Whatever the reason this season, Instacart's here for hosts and their whole holiday haul. Get decorations from the Home Depot, CVS, and more through Instacart and enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
High Five Casino lets you play your favorite slot and live table games like blackjack with the chance to redeem for real cash prizes. High Five Casino has a giant selection of over 1,200 games, including hundreds of exclusive games only found on High Five Casino. It's always free to play, and free coins are given out every 4 hours. Ready to have your own high five moment? Visit highfivecasino.com. That's casino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.
Ask me. Ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them. We'll read them. Then we'll give you answers. You know it. I've got it. I've got the answer. The answer. You ask me. I'll tell you anything.
Well, it's the last episode before the new year. It is.
It is. But
People like...
you love timing this. You love putting this into a time and space. You don't have
It's
to.
about context. I don't have to. You're right. I don't. And my mom is here because we had to batch record these because, again, didn't even tell people that. Didn't bring my Zoom recorder to Europe because I don't check a bag. So I'm not schlepping this equipment. We can batch record these because the truth is bridesmaid drama and roommate hate is perennial. It's evergreen. Holidays are wrapping up.
I was thinking this morning, I want to challenge the listeners. If you have a question we have never answered before, please write it in, because there is something interesting in the idea that you hear the advice to a question and then you ask the same question because you want that advice given to you. And I get that 100%. But I want you to surprise me with a question I haven't heard before, like the toothless man or the photographer, or,
like a twist or a turn.
Yeah.
Speaking of surprise, my mom is here.
Yes, I am.
Well, let's get it.
Roll.
We're ready to roll because we got to jam it in. I mean, people, we got to put out the good energy for that new year coming up. The worst holiday of the year.
Oh,
first of all, gold and black always looks like a cabaret performance. Going out on New Year's Eve is only for when you are newly dating or single in your early 20s. Other than that, you don't have the emotional bandwidth, the patience, the low body fat to withstand the cold, but also care about looking hot.
It's not like there's great food at a New Year's party. It's kind of like, we gave you some alcohol. You should be fine. Stay here till midnight.
I literally had a friend who was like, we're going to go out for dinner on New Year's. And I lost respect for them. I was like, oh, you're stupid. Got it. That's cool that we spend so much time together.
It's crowded. It's like Valentine's Day. Costs you twice as much, twice as crowded, and half as much as rewarding because you expected more than you ever got.
You have to go for a mediocre dinner. Go to Paquito Mas. They're not going to raise their prices. You can just eat there.
Is it New Year's or Valentine where 2 of the Sex and the City women go to that same Chinese restaurant and eat a meal and there's balloons? Is that Valentine's Day?
It was a Valentine's Day episode in the old one where Miranda confessed something to Carrie, who, as per usual, was unreasonable and just weird. And
She's
Miranda
friend.
was actually acting. And Carrie's like, me, answering machine, no cell phone, me. I never get tired of not liking her and of not liking that new show, but I still watch it.
You have to.
So let's get into it.
I had to ask the experts, am I the asshole? Male and female, 30s, no kids. Here's my question.
Wait a minute. Did you just say male and female?
Yeah, so a
Am I
male,
the
People identify as both.
a male and a female. 30s, no kids.
Both ass. Which one is the asshole is the question?
We don't ask that anymore because Reddit is dead to me.
We can call people assholes, though. Reddit doesn't own
The
it.
question is, which of these two is the asshole?
So these people have a question. They're just setting the scene with their ages and genders for
you ready?
context.
To proceed?
Yeah, I'd like to be clear on it. So they're both 31 and they can't decide who's the asshole. We're talking about one female and one male.
Nope. They're both, are we the asshole? Are
Oh.
we one giant butthole?
No,
Did
that's
we
not
make
the-
the mistake?
Is that
Am I the
question?
asshole it's like a category on Reddit. Like, hey, am I the asshole? I did something. What do you guys think? Was I wrong? They're basically asking, were we wrong in what we're about to tell you?
So we is I. Just trying to be clear. There's two people involved. A male and a
Liberal
female.
use of the nominative plural.
Oh, you're dying to use that.
All right, let's go.
My fiance's lifelong best friend lives 4 hours away in a destination location where they also own a separate beach house that they rent on Airbnb. When we have visited in the past, we stay in the guest bedroom of their family home. Recently, they have invited us to visit over a holiday weekend and specifically mentioned via DM, if you want to come visit, we could block off the beach house for a couple days. There was a past incident of them unexpectedly charging full price to mutual visiting friends for a small service at their other local business, who would have otherwise declined had they known the fees beforehand. Are we the assholes for assuming that we would not have to pay for the Airbnb due to it being a business? Love, Anonymous.
It's a business. So say, before we make the decision, I need to be
Just before-
concerned. What does it cost?
Yeah, if we're
What
going to
will
come
it-
visit
what will
you,
the charge be?
we just need to know that that's exactly right. People get so weird about it because then you can frame it like, because we might stay at a hotel, so we just want to know, we just want to have all the facts.
What's the rate?
That way it makes it look like you weren't expecting
Right.
it.
Non-judgmentally. Well,
It
you
is
could charge,
weird
it
to
is
an-
your business.
But it is weird to invite your friends to visit, so they pay to go visit. It's like, and we're going to charge you. Unless it's some exquisite property, but it still is a little weird to invite people to charge them.
You would think you would set it up like, hey, we can give you a really good deal on the Airbnb if you'd rather stay there by yourselves than stay in our guest room. Like they
It's weird
should
that they're
set
just-
it up.
They're hoping you'll just pay it. So you just have to be like, hey, what are we charging?
Right. Since they didn't set it up, you have to ask
So we can compare prices.
non-judgmentally.
Yeah.
Just to get our ducks in a row. What is it if we go
And be
here,
prepared
or what
not
if
to
it's-
go.
Right.
Be prepared to be like, sorry, that's too much. Also, I don't want to pay for a cleaning fee, a maintenance fee, a therapy fee,
A holiday
bird.
weekend.
fluffing fee. Yeah.
Damages fee.
Yeah, too much.
Mm-mm.
Or it's a great deal and you wanted to go there anyway.
Right.
But if the whole point of going was to like go to this great place, it just depends.
Right.
So,
You know, just when someone has a business doesn't mean you get stuff for free. You know, your best friend has an optometry store. Doesn't mean you get glasses for free.
I mean, I have two kinds of, it does and it doesn't. Depends on what you're doing, but I have two kinds of people. I have people who are like, I'm going to buy a ticket to come see you. And normally I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like at a local show, it doesn't matter. But the amount of friends that are like, oh, my friend, I'm going to get a ticket for my friend. And I'm like, I have a new rule. I'm like, does your friend want to see me? Like, these are not tickets to just be given out to like your kid or your kid's friends. I'm like, if they're a fan, sure. But like, people don't understand that like these things add up. And if I give out 30 free tickets, like that's hundreds of dollars, thousands.
Well, and the maintenance of like making sure the person gets checked in and they have their ID and that they have the details of when they should show up because they're not getting the ticketing email that has all those details. It's like, it's a lot of admin.
Yeah, you're like,
It
what
is.
why am
And
I
because-
paying for you to come see free comedy?
Well, also, most of the venues limit say we can give you 6 free, complimentary tickets.
Well,
to
they
you to
do.
give to your-
I get
Right.
10 comps. So normally it doesn't matter. But like we did this business deal with someone who asked for 16 tickets. And I was like, are you giving me a discount on the business deal we did? Like I'm not filling an arena.
Right.
You don't have it to give.
I do have it to give, but sometimes I certainly don't have it to give so you can give it to someone just for fun who's like, oh, I think I've heard of her. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
new friends. Anyway, so I get the business side. So just be aware that your friends also need to make money.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody's an asshole. Moving on.
Correct.
No one's ever the asshole.
Fall has fallen, winter is on its way, the days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner,
anything in between, Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only, exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. You know, like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, you know, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
Hi, AIA crew. I need advice on dealing with my sister and mom. My sister, in her 30s, had to move back into my mom's after her breakup since she was left with nothing. My sister and mom have always had an extremely negative, toxic relationship that has only amplified since living together again. My mom is an alcoholic and very hard to live with because of her habits, so I understand my sister's overall frustration. Still, I've always had a better relationship with my mom. The issue is now when I make plans with my family, my sister begs me not to invite my mom. On one side, I understand because them together does ruin the vibe every single time, but also it's unfair to have family get-togethers and include everyone but her. My sister is selfish and has always felt the world revolves around her, so it makes me just not even want to cater to what she wants. If she's that uncomfortable with it, she can stay home. Still, she's fun to hang out with and has nobody else, so I don't really want to stop inviting her either. So my question is, what can I do to keep the peace while still including everyone? Should I call out their behavior towards each other in the moment or just accept that this is on them and don't give it oxygen? Thank you.
I have an opinion.
Oh, yes, you are here.
Oh, I'm here. My opinion is whenever you have a family event, everyone gets invited. That's it.
It's not on you.
It's not on
It's
her.
not on you.
But if you want to get together with your sister, who is a lot of fun, go to a movie with
Just the
her.
two of
go
you.
to dinner with just her. That's quite sufficient.
Yeah, that's
but it's
not on
not
you.
your job to be the referee. And by the way, I get that she was left with nothing, but does that mean he cleaned out her bank account and furniture?
My bigger
or
issue,
she just can't pay rent without him?
Yeah, my bigger issue is like if you weren't married with children, like did you not have a job? Did you not have savings? Like, are you not independent? Like, what happened? She needs to be focused on getting her own place.
Right. And if you said she's so focused on just herself, it sounds like she's being incredibly selfish in her
She wants it
mother's
both
space.
ways. Yeah, you know your
In her
mom's an
space.
alcoholic. Your life must be pretty shitty if you're like, I'm going to move in with the one woman I don't get along with who has like a chemical imbalance.
Right. She needs to move out, but
It's
that's
not on
not
you.
your concern.
You know what? Aunt Debbie said something. We were sitting around the kitchen table. She said something. I forgot what it was about something we didn't like. And she goes, I know you don't like that. And I know you want me to not like that, but I don't want to. Do you remember that yesterday?
Oh,
It
so
was
many
somebody.
things.
It was somebody who had done something. You guys don't really talk shit on people, but it was someone. And you were like, she was like, I know you have negative feelings about them and you want me to, but I don't want to do that.
Right.
And I like that. I think about friends who have like a friend they don't like and they kind of
Right.
put it on you. And I like that of being like, I know you don't like them and you want me to not like them, but I don't want to do that.
You know what?
I think that's so cute.
That's from the last episode with the girlfriend A
Yes.
and B, and one was trying to make
That's right.
A, B, and C, and C was always trying to pull B away from B away from A because B and A made friends with each other, and C didn't like that.
But Aunt Debbie said that. And if I ask either of you, what were we talking about? You'll both be like, I don't even remember. But it was a moment where I just liked the way she said it. It was just so innocent. Like, I know you have those negative feelings and you want me to, but I don't want to do that. Like, not even that I don't. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes you would like someone to be on your side, but sometimes it's really not.
The
all
whole
that
podcast
important.
is why I do the whole thing. I need everyone on my side for all these microaggressions. Yeah, it's not on you. It's not your responsibility to govern other people's relationships.
Right. This was an easy one.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah,
of those
Emily.
were.
Nice lob.
Well, now we have a follow-up where you were right, Iliza. Do you remember?
Yes.
There was a question asker. She'd had a crush on her coworker. They had dated during the summer and then kind of split up like, we're not at the same place. Then he kind of moved back to the same area. They were hanging out. So they were talking more. She wanted exclusivity and that he was like afraid of labels. Remember? And so,
because he's not into her.
well,
Right.
so
He
she was
said
like,
he's just not
oh,
that
should we
much
get back
into you."
together? You know, what should we do? So now we have a follow-up.
Red Hot Update.
I came up with a compromise. And after 2 weeks, when I checked in, he got super defensive. So long story short, it's over. It hurts, but it's not meant to be between us. Once again, Iliza was right.
Good for you.
Yay.
Good for you for acknowledging I was right. And I'm also
for
glad
you.
that helped you. Good. It sucks. And you know what? That's very mature of you to be like, yeah, it really hurts. I think this guy's hot. I like him. But ultimately, this guy, you get it. You don't need me to.
I feel
It's
like
interesting
yeah.
that you would get that invested in somebody without getting anything back.
Oh, I mean, is that interesting or is that very human nature? I mean, I'm writing a script right now and I'm in love with our main character who's not real and is kind of an asshole. But I would wreck my world for him.
Well, this person had a crush on this guy too before they got together. So it was super
Yeah, it's a
built
longer
up.
story.
And then they got together and it was like, yeah. But I'm glad that they put a boundary and they were like, you know what? He's not replying. He's
Good
being
for you.
weird. Done.
Right.
Good
Repairing
And
American
you know
fabric.
What? Guess
one
what? Within
boundary.
a year, he'll be married to somebody. He
Yeah.
just was
Probably.
not that into that girl.
Okay, you want to rub it in.
Yeah, you're right. Well, maybe it makes her move on more faster.
I mean, who knows when she wrote this? Who knows when
Right.
Emily went into the crypt and pulled out this question?
Sometimes I go
She's
really
like, I'm
far
on my way to
back.
see. I'm on my way to see the Twin Towers. Writing to you from a cab that I have to pay for in cash. Awful.
Hey,
Go on.
hey, ladies. First of all, I want to genuinely thank you for all the advice, laughs, and red hot debates on the pod. You are constantly playing in the background. I believe you've partially shaped who I'm turning into now. It's kind of scary. A little bit of background.
Only partially.
Is she working out?
Yeah.
I am 27, currently unemployed, and my quote job is doing about 13 hours of therapy a week. I struggle with mania and psychosis when life gets tough. I'm about a month sober from weed and alcohol, and I've turned my life around dramatically. I had a deadbeat boyfriend that I was with for too long. He caught a pretty nefarious case earlier this year. Oh no, think the grossest thing you can do as a 40-something man on the internet. And I became paralyzed with anxiety and codependent. We almost got married because I was terrified I wouldn't be able to take care of myself without him. as I was in a collision with a semi-truck right after he went to jail, and I got fired from my
Jesus.
job because I was missing work due to, being hit by a semi. After a lot of blacking out to numb the physical and emotional pain, a few inpatient stays, and many regular therapy sessions, I got into a really good intensive outpatient program. As I was detoxing, I realized just how uncomfortable I was with my life. I wanted to crawl out of my skin because I had stayed with that loser for so long, and I knew I had to make an exit strategy. A good friend offered to let me stay with her, and after a long month of packing and mania at the ex's house, I am rid of him. I'm not home free yet, as I'm still on his car insurance because it would be $350 a month for me to get independently, and I'm still not working to focus on treatment. I am in the early days of sobriety, and I would like to ride out the free stay for the 2 months and really hone my coping skills and to make sure I'm good. I can't do a physical job like I was doing before, but I live in a huge city with plenty of opportunities to try something new. I want to go back to school as I didn't finish. My mom has offered to help me with school, but that relationship is complicated and it wouldn't be enough to cover anything. What I'm asking is, where do I go from here? I know you aren't mental health professionals. I have plenty of help in that capacity. I feel like the world is at my fingertips and I'm a bit scared.
Oh.
I don't have a safety net. It's time for me to make my own way, and I'm on the right track. Any advice to keep me in the right headspace would be lovely. Make it lovely is one of my favorite sayings. Nobody ever gets it, but I say it just for me. Best,
Okay, rub it in that no one saw my sketch show. Thanks.
Best manic pixie dream girl.
A lot of stuff going on there.
That's a lot.
I was surprised by the positivity of the end.
Yes, I was too.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I'm on your side. Because this isn't a pity party. You're like, here are the things that happen. Here is the therapy that I'm in versus saying like, I know I need to deal with it. First of all, you live in a huge city. Get rid of your car. Get rid of your car. Get off of his insurance. You do not need, that is an excuse to be tethered to this person.
Agreed. Plus,
You don't need a car because you're not going to work. So take
And
the
if you
bus,
were, you
walk,
take a bus.
take an Uber, I hate them, but one of those Lime scooters, whatever.
but you know what else? The insurance on the car, if something really happens to you, they may not pay because you're not married to this guy and you're not living with the guy. And
Get
you're
off of
taking
his insurance.
advantage of insurance.
Sell
that
your car,
really shouldn't be
Squirrel
earned by
that
you.
money away. Okay? That's number one because you don't even need the car.
And where are you
Sorry.
getting the money anyway? You
I don't
must
know.
have had a lot of money saved up because you're aggressively burning through a lot of money with all that therapy. How many? 14 hours a week of therapy? What's that, $100 an hour? That's a lot of money.
Or
you're
maybe you have
running through.
insurance.
Where's
Maybe
it
it's a
going?
government subsidized thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Everybody feels the way you do to an extent. No matter who you are, you're kind of like, oh, where am I going next? I don't know. Nobody really knows. The good news is you're positive and you do have the world at your fingertips. And realizing that is actually a huge step because so many people don't. So many people. So I commend you for getting out of that relationship and fixing yourself because so many people don't realize you have the rest of your life. They're like, I guess I need to stay with him, even though we only share a mug. You have a small safety net because you have a friend who's helping you, who obviously cares, right? You're staying at their house.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a mom who is willing to help you with school. So there's that, even though it's complicated. Maybe it's manipulative, maybe it's not. Maybe she'd be willing to give you some of that money to get your own place if you got a job. Like you have something there. But this is what life is for most people. No safety net.
Let's talk about that safety net for 1 second, because it seems like when you mention the word safety net, in the beginning, if you can imagine one of those high wire things with that big net at the bottom, the net you had before was made of elastic. So when you fell, it didn't really help you. Actually hit the ground underneath the net. That's actually what happened. And now you got nothing.
How much worse could it get? You were hit
That's
by a
right.
semi-truck and you were with a pedophile.
That was your safety net. Now you're saying, am I looking for a safety net? You got to be careful on what kind of safety nets you're willing to compromise yourself with to get.
Think
And
about
try flying without one.
what would you like to do with your life? What are the steps to get there? Does it require school? Is it volunteering? Is it a job you don't need it? Do you already have some sort of degree? Like, what do you need? What do you want? What are the steps to get there? Get off that insurance. You can get
Number
another
one.
car anytime. You can always get shitty insurance, but you said big city. Shouldn't have said that. Sell that car.
Right. And can you go to community college, like a cheap college at night and also work a part-time job? Like
If you need that specific degree or like a
Right.
degree at all, please don't go like, I need this competitive creative dance degree. Like you don't, I mean, also so many things are done remotely. Like when I tell you Emily makes tens of hundreds of dollars every few years just from working from home. The amount of $5 bills we've raked in from this podcast alone.
Yeah, go use those
You have
codes.
to make a list. You have to make a list. These are the things I want. And then what's the most valuable things on that list? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number. What are my options? 1, 2, 3, 4. What can I do to financially help myself?
Get
Sell my
off
car.
his insurance. Sell your
100%.
car. Go real far. Okay.
Hello, AIA podcast crew. Eliza, I've already asked myself what you would do in this situation and think I have done it, but thought I'd send this one in anyway so you and Emily could come on the journey with me. I am not the asshole. Read in the voice of Maury, you are not the father. How does he say it? He just puts emphasis on not, right?
It's like, why is it always Jews? It's like him and Jerry Springer.
What?
Like, you are. I feel like neither of them had a New York accent.
They don't have New York.
They don't. You are not
the phone.
It doesn't matter because the news, whether they give it with exclamation or not, it's just someone screaming and jumping around a stage.
Yeah.
It's always a pause. You are not the asshole.
Oh, they have the
Congratulations.
I am
Dated reference.
I'm 32, female, back in college. Through our late 20s, I had a close-knit group of girlfriends. Oh, back in college and through our late 20s, I had a close-knit group of girlfriends.
I was like, good for you.
As we grew up, we sort of naturally split apart. No animosity, at least as I saw it. We were simply growing in different directions. 2 of us went one way, 3 of us another. I hadn't really spoken to the one friend in a couple of years when the worst thing in my life happened. My dad unexpectedly passed away. My dad and I were very close. He was my best friend and also my business partner, so I was around him most days. All of a sudden, this friend is showing up at my house with cookies and wanting to help, a super nice gesture. I found that people really tend to come out of the woodwork when something like this happens. But then, at what was essentially my dad's funeral, my dad passed away in November of 2020, so still peak COVID. I wasn't comfortable having a huge service. The insane happened. When his obituary ran in the paper, I put in at the end that I would be in the bottom room of a local bar he and I enjoyed on a certain date time, and if anyone close to him wanted to and felt comfortable, they were welcome to come share a story and a beer in his honor. This friend showed up and got hammered. Not only that, but she was trying to get the bartender to take her home. And it gets worse. A few of my very close friends came back to my house with me so I wouldn't have to be alone, and she accompanied them despite not being invited. She proceeded to loudly go on and on about how she hadn't gotten laid in a year. I got so mad at one point, I finally looked at her and said, "What the hell do you want me to do? I can't DoorDash a dick for you." To make matters worse, she also apparently tried to make out with my best friend's husband and then drug my best friend into my bathroom to tell her about it. Oof. I told someone to take her home and I never spoke to her again. Fast forward to present day, 2.5 years later, she messaged my best friend and said she blamed me for the fact that they aren't friends anymore, saying I'm keeping my best friend from her and that you all stopped talking to me after her dad's funeral, and I don't know why. When my friend
doesn't remember.
No. When my friend recounted the events from that night, this girl proceeded to place blame on my best friend's husband, saying she didn't know where their miscommunication happened, but it was completely his fault. It wasn't. There were witnesses, and that contradicts what her drunk ass told my best friend in the bathroom. Told my friend, I'm sorry we're fighting over this, but I'm not getting involved as I don't want her and her bullshit back in my life. Am I the asshole? I think hell no.
I don't know why you're writing in.
I think to make
I
sure
think you just want me to
doing the right
validate.
thing.
You're fine. And I'm glad that you did the advice that I would have given you, which is kind of weirdly what we started the show with, which is like, I know you want me to have these feelings, but these are my feelings in an inverse. Because in this case, you're like, oh, I have bad feelings toward her. I know you wish I didn't. This is yet another woman who is holding another woman accountable for the way another woman is treating her. Mm-hmm. You don't want this behavior. If she atoned for it, I thought you were going to say she reached out to apologize. You're like, should I let her back in? And that would be a different discussion. Nope. That is very scarring. You were super vulnerable. Doesn't matter how much she showed up for you before. That behavior it was kind of forgivable until you got back to the house. So
I have a question. You said there were 5 of you. 2 went one way and 3 went the other way. Which group were you in? Were you the one of the 2 and then the cookie girl was your quote unquote buddy? Or were you part of the 3 and she was a third of the group?
I'm
and
guessing
by the way,
2.
nobody.
okay,
Because were they actually a lot closer? And is this girl that had this drinking, does she have a drinking issue? Is she an alcoholic?
Maybe, but if she was your close friend and she did this, that's worse. And if she came back into your life and did it, then you definitely shouldn't have any bad feelings about it. But that's sort of unforgivable. If she wants to apologize, that's one thing. But what she's trying to do is have her cake and eat it too. She's trying to be like, how can I get back in and blame the husband and make it clear that it wasn't my fault and get my friend back? Your friend is free to be friends with her. You just don't need to hear about it. You cannot police that. I definitely have friends who have friends that are not cool to me. And I understand that they're going to be friends anyway. Does it bother me? Yeah. Do I think less of them? Sure. But I'm not going to ever bring it up to them, just here.
Just in this public
You
forum.
want to name names just in case you didn't mention
I have
them?
one friend who has a friend who's just always been a bitch to me, probably because she's jealous. And I don't think my friend has ever defended me or been like, hey, why are you rude to Iliza? I'm like, I know why she's rude, because she's jealous. End of story. There's no other reason. Snore. Boring psychology. Anyway, that's it. You're right. You're not the asshole.
No.
Is this
Cue
like
the
an
Maury
asshole
crowd.
Is it an asshole-free zone? Is that the thing?
No buttholes. Mom, no buttholes.
I'll make a note.
Say no buttholes.
I don't like to say it.
Say what?
No buttholes.
Hi, Iliza. I have a new boyfriend and really like him. I might say I love him. Do you have any
Dump
advice
him.
on how
Next
to
question.
make this relationship last? We've been together for almost 4 months.
What? No, I don't know anything about you. I don't know how old you are. I don't know. You can't make there's no advice on how to make something last.
Except don't press it. Just let
There
it
you
move
go.
along.
Okay, you're right. There's a lot of advice actually.
Yes. You don't have to. You didn't take a date at a wedding hall. You're not in a rush to do anything unless you're 40. I don't know how old
We
this
don't know
person is.
that you didn't provide enough context. So Emily, that's going to go in your year-end report, which I'm writing as we speak.
Your urine report?
Your
Not-
year-end report.
Oh, okay, that's better. I don't know. I thought you might just
Don't
have
get
some
crazy.
generic advice.
Don't
I mean,
rush
this
it
person
Yeah,
sounds
don't
very
rush it.
young.
Take a shower. Always take a shower.
with them, but you don't have to look. And keep the lights off. Shower with the lights dim is better. You don't want to see.
Install a dimmer on your light switch. First step.
Surprise them with a dimmer. Men love mood
You want to
lighting.
make it last. Make an attempt to go out with somebody else and see if he cares. If he doesn't care, then you don't have anything
yeah.
to begin
and let
with.
him know. Be like, you want to know why I'm dressed up, Kirk? You want to fucking know? I'm going out with your brother.
Perfect. This person's set.
Right.
Hello, Iliza, and the fellow pod members.
I know I'm supposed to give advice. I'm sorry. Like, you got to get real weird. You got to start bringing up marriage. You got to start limiting his spending, telling him what to eat. You got to get in there.
Well,
Yeah.
that's definitely over.
You got to change everything about him. You got to tell him you don't like Christopher Nolan's Batman and just see what happens. See it, watch his head implode.
So you prefer Batman and Robin.
Nobody prefers Batman.
What?
The best
What?
Batman movie with the bat nipples.
I like the Uma Thurman one.
Yeah, that was that
It
one.
was an Umith.
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah, she was Poison Ivy. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger was Mr. Freeze.
What's the one with Kim Basinger?
That's
That's
the
the one everyone
first
hates.
one.
I watched it recently
Just
and like a
Batman.
bowl of popcorn just like appears for some reason in her like weirdly decorated apartment. Anyway, we can talk about it later.
Good idea.
I'm becoming you. Okay.
Everybody sleeps, but no two people sleep alike. At Coop Sleep Goods, we celebrate the way you sleep differently. We believe everyone deserves a great night's sleep with their own pillow, and the adjustable, customizable Coop pillow makes it easy. Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or even a starfish, we've got the perfect pillow for you. Crafted with our innovative memory foam and microfiber fill, our hypoallergenic pillows adjust to you, not the other way around. Just tailor the fill for the perfect fit. Add some in, take some out, until your pillow's just right for you. See why luxury hotels and spas worldwide feature Coop Sleep Goods and why we have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. With our 100-night risk-free trial, you've got nothing to lose, except those sleepless nights. Get up to 50% off selected items during our Black Friday Cyber Monday sale when you visit coopsleepgoods.com/comedy. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy.
Why get all your holiday decorations delivered through Instacart? Because maybe you only bought 2 wreaths, but have 12 windows. Or maybe your toddler got very eager with the advent calendar. Or maybe the inflatable snowman didn't make it through the snowstorm. Or maybe the twinkle lights aren't twinkling. Whatever the reason this season, Instacart's here for hosts and their whole holiday haul. Get decorations from the Home Depot, CVS, and more through Instacart and enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Hello, Iliza and fellow pod members. I've metaphorically lived under a rock for a while and found you about a year ago. I was trying to find something on Netflix to put me in a good mood before I did mushrooms, and I watched Unveiled. I've been hooked since.
You picked the one with like the most fire and blood and aggression. You're like, can't wait to take off. She's like, don't worry, I didn't watch till the end.
This past weekend, my fiance and I went to visit my parents because my mom sadly has ALS and will pass away before we get married in May next year. We held a faux wedding ceremony so she could see us get married. The night before, I had us all watch Unveiled, and even my quite conservative dad and grandma were rolling. So I wanted to start my email with a big thank you for your comedy. It was so nice to have something to lighten a very emotional trip and to refer back to as we were doing wedding things to have a laugh. It was nice to share your stand-up with my mom and to have that moment. To my question. Again, my mom has ALS and was recently told she has about 6 months left if she takes a feeding tube, which right now she doesn't want it to. We've known for about a year and a half that she's had it, and most people pass away in 2 to 5 years. It's been very hard to watch her lose nearly every ability. At this point, she can really only talk, breathe, and swallow certain foods on her own. It seems like these will be
more than most people do in a day anyway. So I'm just putting that out there.
Seems like these will be impossible for her in the next month. This experience has understandably been very hard on my dad, who is primarily taking care of her since my brother and I live in different states. We've offered to help in ways that we can while being away, like ordering food and groceries, hiring cleaning help, calling insurance, the ALS Association, or anything. And every time my dad says no. The first flag came up this summer when my mom was crying on the phone about my dad kind of throwing my mom onto the bed because he was mad. It makes me sick to my stomach. My brother and sister-in-law were there this summer. My mom and dad got into an argument, and my brother and sister-in-law both saw my dad throw my mom onto her bed and then walk out. This past weekend, I noticed a mark on my mom's leg and asked her about it. She said my dad got mad, kicked part of her wheelchair, and the footrest hit her in the shin. I asked her if she told anyone else, and she said no. But then she was crying and telling me she was worried about what will happen when she can't talk anymore. My mom also is now choking about...
Emily, this is horrible.
You didn't like the last short one. You didn't like...
I'm listening.
Should I tell someone I love them?
This
So
is
we're going-
so...
We're getting in
Please
there.
finish.
This is just so much to wrap your mind. Like, I just keep thinking about...
Well, there's 2 things happening with the dad.
He's so angry.
He's
that
very
this is
angry
happening.
that he has to deal with it.
I know.
But he's also angry that she's leaving him.
Oh
And
my God, this is so sad. And
Well, we got that. It's sad.
I'm choosing to take this out on Emily.
My mom is now choking about once a day when she eats, and we were there this weekend. My dad just sat there, and we would get up to see if mom needed anything or if she was okay. He might
mad
be
at
used
her.
to it, but it felt super fucked up to watch him not even acknowledge what was happening. Iliza, I don't know what to do. I am so afraid of confronting my dad and him retaliating against my mom. She would have no way of defending herself. My mom has nowhere to go, and traveling to my brother and I isn't an option because she needs 24-hour intensive care, or she will soon and can't travel in a plane. Car rides have to be limited. My mom's sister is going to visit, and I want to give her a heads up, even if it's just to keep an eye on mom. My fiance thinks it would be better for my brother to address my dad if we go that route, since my dad has been ignoring me since the summer. Feels like my dad has become a person I don't recognize, and I don't think I can invite him to our wedding in May. I have so many mixed feelings and just want my mom to be safe and feel cared for. So 2 questions. What would you do in this situation, aiming to keep my mom's best interest in mind? And then would it be immature or not right if I chose not to have my dad at the wedding? Also, my fiance and I are going to see you in Philly for my birthday, and I'm so excited to see you live.
Okay, so that happened, and I'm glad you had a great time because that show was incredible. If your dad doesn't have a history of abuse and you're saying you don't recognize him, it's not okay to hurt your mom. Your dad is grieving in real time. He's angry. He's frustrated, and he's her caretaker. and your wife is being ripped away from you, I think it's a normal feeling to be angry at someone when they get sick, as if they did it on purpose. So it's not that I feel bad for him, but it seems out of frustration, not that it's okay, versus like he is an abusive person. And in the moment, he probably doesn't mean to do it, and it happens. And he didn't mean to kick the thing and have it hit her, but it did. And he'll say, I didn't throw you on the bed. And we're like, well, you did,
She could never say. The thing is, she needs the feeding tube, and she needs it sooner than later, because without eating, she will die.
Maybe she wants that.
Now, she may want to die, but she won't be able to speak either way because she will lose the ability to move her tongue.
Okay.
So swallowing. I'm just telling you, my across the street neighbor, this happened to her.
I know. Okay, but she knows she's going to stop speaking, and
But she's not. She's turning down the feeding tube.
Okay.
That means the dad has to feed her.
Right.
Well,
And so
I guess I thought of a feeding tube as like going in your mouth, but I guess it doesn't. It goes like in your arm or something.
I think it goes down your throat.
It goes down your throat?
Pretty sure.
Why would you want that if you're going to?
Because you can't swallow.
Then you can't move. If it's down your throat, do you have it in the whole day?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. You can't take it in
Then
and out.
your life's over.
Her life is over. It's just a question of time.
I think if you want to visit and keep an eye, that's going to be excruciating for you, but it's kind of the only way to kind of provide some space there, and maybe whoever the other relative is going to come.
It's her and her brother and the mother's sister.
The sister, right.
So
I'm
they
just saying
can
if you want to
divide
be
that.
there to make sure that like maybe dad stays cool. I don't think making a decision about not inviting your dad right now matters.
not have that.
This is a year
You're not
from
getting
now,
that.
and you
Exactly.
have to that's silly. Don't use that as something against him. You're going to want your dad there. Unless he is an abusive person, but that's a different thing.
think so.
I don't think he is.
You know what? I think that your brother, as was suggested by your fiance, may be the person to speak with your dad, but your brother might be the person to first speak with an expert on ALS or a therapist so he can approach your dad in the way to say, you're either angry that mom got this or you're angry that you have to take care of her. But either way, your anger is it's not a good thing at this time. And you won't remember that as being a good thing in the last few weeks or months that you have with
Take
mom.
the wedding thing off the table. You don't have to
take that off the
don't even
table.
think about that right now.
What you can do, should do, if it's within your budget, is look into facilities or nurses or something. You've offered to pay for groceries. You've offered to help out. The greatest help you can have is you researching a program, government assistance, taking out a loan, doing something to get her into care with nurses so that your dad doesn't resent her in this way.
So your dad can focus on loving her and grieving and being there in a positive way, not being her nurse, because that's a lot.
It's a lot.
But you're also looking at $10,000 to $15,000 a month.
Maybe
and they may not
maybe
have
there's something.
that.
You may not have that, but that's the advice.
And buying groceries for someone that really needs to be on a food tube, she can't swallow it anyway.
Could
so
be just getting them
what
for
are you
the
doing?
dad, but
But
he's
not
in his
an
own
invalid.
personal
He
health.
can,
No, but he
go to
might
the
want to be
supermarket.
there, and it's just one less errand.
Yeah, true.
Okay, next question. I'm so sorry. That's horrible.
So at the end of the day, the brother has to have the conversation with the dad, and it has to be about his anger, either pre or post grief anger. That's what's happening. And so maybe he can wake up to understand that you're all watching him and know what he's doing,
Right.
and divide up the care between the three of you. That's all.
He won't admit to it. He won't
Yes, you can.
realize it. If you're like,
It's
"You're
not
being
that
kinda rushed."
long.
I know. I'm saying if you're being rough, I'll be like, no, I'm not. I was frustrated. Look, I kicked the thing. I didn't mean to hit her. Like in the moment, it's hard to control those things.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, next question.
Dear Eliza, Emily, and crew, I have a pregnancy question as a millennial. I am 36 and have been trying for my first baby for almost 6 months. I get lots of rude comments from people such as, oh, it will be a geriatric pregnancy. You better get on that. I hate it as it makes me feel like a swamp witch instead of a person. My grandmother has started bringing it up more now that I'm newly married. Like it's a switch I can just turn on. It's not easy and makes me feel awful that people just expect it to happen. You don't get to decide when you fall pregnant. It's so hurtful when people ask. I am starting to feel like I am doing something wrong. I find it hard to call out people when they say these things, as it's normally a polite conversation. I feel like I will make the situation awkward asking them not to say that. Did you ever get these comments while trying to conceive, and how do you politely navigate them? I saw you in February 2020 before the lockdown in Brisbane. I give you a box of goodies with Vegemite and a toy for baby Chino. Went to your show by myself. It was amazing. And I'm so glad I got to hug you before COVID hit. Congratulations on your new baby boy.
Thank you. Well, we definitely do not still have that Vegemite and definitely do still have whatever that toy was. This always comes back to the thing that we talk about on the podcast the most, which is what's more important, their comfort or yours. You don't have to be rude about it. The grandma, that's tough because she just wants you to have a kid.
Before she dies.
You simply can't. I mean, the geriatric thing, first of all, a doctor told me is actually not a medical term. It's just another way to make women feel awful. It's ridiculous that none of the other geriatric terms apply to being 36, whatever. You have to decide in your heart how you feel about this. You're going to feel like a swamp witch trying to get pregnant at any time because it's not sexy. There's nothing hot about like having timed sex or if you have to go to a fertility doctor or do a shot or whatever it is you have to. Nothing's sexy about this. Nothing's natural about it. We were lied to our whole lives, okay? You have to decide how you feel about it. And you have to just go about your business. That way, when someone says something shitty, it rolls off your back. And if you really want to say something, you can be like, do you really think I'm not doing everything that I can? And let them answer that. They'll be like, no, I'm just joking. And be like, okay, it doesn't help. And let them deal with that.
Right.
Let them know that that's not okay. This is not their space to like make weird jokes.
You know, when it comes to the grandmother, you can turn to the grandmother and say, look, Grandma, what do you think we're doing?
What do you think we're fucking doing, Nana?
Do you think we're trying not to have a baby? And do you think it makes me feel better that you keep nagging me about it? I know you don't mean to do that, but all you're doing by asking me is reminding me that I'm not pregnant yet. And that's not helping me.
And she'll be like, oh, I was just saying. You'll be like, I know you love me. And if you do, then just don't. Because we're all trying.
And as far as her friends are concerned, there's a couple of ways to handle that. I say, I know it's just a typical thing to say, but what you're doing is you're inserting yourself into our personal life.
I mean, that's a little, it's tough to say that because you don't, and then your friends will be like, geez, a real friend will be like, I'm so sorry. You're right. That's it.
You're in my bedroom with me.
As women need to start understanding that like real friends and people who really love you will take into consideration what you're saying, not immediately be like, well, how does that make me feel about the way I made you feel?
Well, there's that. So what's the easiest, most non-judgmental?
Don't you think I'm doing everything that I can? Do you really think I'm not doing everything that I can? Simple answer is just like, I'm trying.
Just doing all we can, thanks.
Doing all we can. Happy to send you tapes for proof. But you got to pay us.
Well, how about doing all we can and we're accepting champagne and chocolates at any time you want to drop
you want to send those oysters? Send them over.
Send them over.
Airmail, please. Otherwise, I'll get sick in my tum-tum.
That's kind of fun. Send some champagne oysters.
No, you know what you say? They're like, oh, when are you going to have a baby? Be like, do you have any tips? I think we're doing it wrong. It goes in the mouth, right? What do you think we should be doing?
What do you think we should be doing? That's kind of good.
How would you do it? Grandma, how would you make love to my husband?
Leave Grandma out of it because she...
No, she's old. She's vulnerable. You got to go hard.
I know you, right. I remember my aunt used to do this, my cousin, and she would say to Leslie, I want to dance at your wedding, not come on crutches. And Leslie would say, I'm doing all I can, Stop doing that. You're not helping me out here.
Yeah. No one in the world has been like, I'm really glad you said something. I was really pussyfooting around.
Or you know what? I was waiting for you to be dead so I could name the child after you.
Because this is, after all, about you.
Right. It is, after all, about you.
And you dancing to the electric slide.
The electric slide. I like it's all about you. I was waiting for you to die so I could name the baby after you.
Only Jews do that, though. I don't think our listeners know that. That's a Jewish thing.
No, not necessarily. You could name somebody for someone that died.
But only Jews don't do it after the living.
That's only Ashkenazic. Sephardic Jews.
Really?
No, absolutely. Dads will name their kid their same name as long as you're Sephardic Jewish. Yeah. Live and learn.
That's a real raw deal.
It is. It's true.
That's a weird limitation.
Dave Jr.
I was dying to name my son Fred.
There goes your excuse, for not naming Sierra Emily.
Yeah, there it is.
Right.
Now I know the truth.
Yeah, you know how I feel.
Anyway.
Also, my sister is named that, but that's the reason. Because of you.
Hello, Iliza and Emily. I'm a fairly new listener, but it's
Which
about
Emily?
damn time I started listening. WTF have I been doing? I saw you in Phoenix and it was fantastic. I'm working in the middle of nowhere in the Southwest, so your pod is a blessing on my long drives. I'm writing in about one of my dearest friends whom I have not been in contact for almost a year now. We had a falling out because I told him I disagreed with how he is living his life. 5 years ago, he moved to New York City to have more community. We've known each other since we were like 10. He's a beautiful gay man, and his spirit is amazing. Over the last...
By the way, we knew he was gay when you said he's moving to New York City for community.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't think he was Puerto Rican. Yeah. I didn't think he was a Hasidic Jew.
Over the last 5 years...
No, I knew he was gay.
His life has been absolute and utter chaos. He hooked up immediately with this abusive, manipulative slug of a human being. He began lying about being with this dude and never had any money. He began to lie about the dumbest and smallest things. He borrowed money from all his friends and family and would then disappear for days at a time. His friends and family would beg him to come home, to figure his shit out. He would refuse and say, I'm going to. He ended up having a life-altering medical event that left him hospitalized and now with a physical disability. I thought he was dead when I first heard he was in the hospital. I called his parents and told them what was happening. He clearly had a problem. An intervention...
They did not know?
They must have known if he was borrowing money from them.
Right.
An intervention needed to be had, but nothing was ever done. I voiced my opinion about shit, but everyone wanted to tiptoe around the real problem. I began attending Al-Anon meetings because it was suggested to me by my therapist since I had so much resentment building. It was like watching someone slowly slip away into darkness. It was revealed to me and his siblings when he was hospitalized that my friend was abused as a child by a close family member. No one has said anything to his family, and my friends refused to tell his parents. I would spit in his abuser's face if I ever saw him. His siblings won't say anything, and the last conversation I had with my friend was me telling him that this deep, dark secret is killing him and is like a festering wound. I told him I can't continue to be in his life if he doesn't get help. He told me he goes to therapy once a week and he will handle it however he sees fit. I've lost one of my closest friends growing up to addiction. She was like a sister to me. I go back and forth on whether I should reach out from time to time, but I'm exhausted and feel like I've been on a roller coaster. I've considered reporting his abuser to the FBI. I miss my friend, but can't go back to how shit was, and I fear he will never change. I can see he's in pain, and I can't handle trying to get him help and telling everyone else he needs help, and it just falling on deaf ears. Tell me your wisdom, wise elder. Sincerely, millennial woman in the middle of nowhere.
You've done all you can do. And you're getting this like service over it. This isn't your husband. This isn't it. I appreciate that it's your good friend. I also appreciate that this is going to sound mean. Like you said, you work in the middle of nowhere. Like you have a lot of time on your hands. So this is able to consume a lot. It does not sound like you have kids or a partner. And I'm not saying that as a knock as much as like you have the bandwidth for this, but just because you have it doesn't mean you need to expend it.
You also said something about reporting to the FBI.
Can't.
First of all, why does the FBI care?
Well, the statute of limitation.
Maybe, but on top of that, you don't know who the abuser is. You just know it's a close family member.
Or even if you
and everybody's all hush up. Who is the person that actually knows it's a close family member?
Her friend who was abused, whether we know this person or not, it's not your place to do that. Unfortunately, it's not your place to do that. You're not in that family. You don't fully know the dynamic. It's easy to come in and just do that. And this is a dark pit he has to crawl out of, and it's unfair and it's awful. And these things clearly manifest themselves in really fucked up ways. All you can do is say, I am here for you if you want to get help. You're there for him in a way that no one else ever has been.
He's already getting help, even though he's not
the right
telling
kind of help. The therapist may not know. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's not a good therapist.
What's to be gained if you come in like a bull in a china shop and say to him, I know so-and-so abused you?
He confided in her.
You don't even know. He confided.
The best friend told her, our question asker. That's how about that he was abused by a family member. So I think for the question, she's just not saying because it doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do.
Right. I mean, what's to be gained if she calls the therapist and said, this is what I know?
The therapist, like, legally probably can't listen to that. Probably can't acknowledge it.
He can't divulge anything, but he could listen.
What's to be gained by going to the parents and saying it? What's to be gained by going sadly, it's not your place. It'd be different if this were your husband or this were your child or something like that, but you're not family. And he's got to crawl out of this, and you've done everything that you can above and beyond, and it hurts. And I think this is this is what people who have addicts in their life go through.
So this person can do nothing, or can this person type a letter and send it to the family of what the situation is and say, at least now I've done all I can?
You could be like, there is a, I mean,
Maybe
I guess you could,
anonymously,
because
so
if
that
it's,
you don't have to say that you knew it. You're just saying, these are the facts that I know.
You could
and send it to every
you
family
have nothing
member.
to lose. You're going to lose him either way. You may as well try to save it.
And they're the only people that have the power to fix anything, because you already know it and you can't fix it. So at least if the family knows, and this is the therapist's phone number if you want to do something, and this is where your son is if you want to do something, this is all I can do.
You could, if you really cared and you really, I guess the other version is you do that because either way it's going to be awful. May as well give it like a glimmer of hope.
And is he dying?
I
Does
changed
he
my
have
mind.
AIDS? We didn't say.
No, she said debilitating. So it sounded,
Debilitating.
but
there was an
people don't-
accident, debilitating. He was in the
Yeah.
hospital. I wonder if weird drugs or fentanyl, like something that
Something.
messed him up a little bit. Or drunk
Could've
driving
been.
or
You could, I guess, consider the outcomes if you write the letter or if you don't. Because you can't force him to do anything, but in a perfect world, enough people in his life care about him that they would confront that person or do something or show up for him. And then you have to just walk away.
Right, because the person that is the abuser that is not going to do anything.
Let's hope it's not like the dad.
Right, but you have to, well, whatever it is, you just have to
Yeah.
tell it to everyone.
You have to decide that in
And
your
let
heart
them
what you're
handle it.
comfortable with. Yeah.
I think it's also making clear that you're there for him whenever he decides to get back on the grid and stop.
You're
messing
there for
up.
him when he decides to pull himself back up, but I can't go down there with you.
Yeah.
Say those words.
Right.
They're very poetic.
Yeah.
This is a heavy one, Emily. Real heavy at the end of the year.
Closing out the year with all the
Anything perky?
heavy ones.
You saved
Jumping
it
out.
for now.
No,
What
it's
else have you got?
no, we went through all our bridesmaids ones and now it's just people in pits of despair.
It's okay.
Although this is a wedding one. Hello, Iliza, Emily, and crew. I need advice on how to deal with a situation that is causing me an unnecessary amount of stress. I, 38-year-old female, recently attended my stepdaughter's wedding. Her bio mom goes out of her way to passive-aggressively bully me. I usually brush it off and ignore her to keep the peace. The week prior to the wedding, my stepdaughter called my husband at least 3 times, crying hysterically because of drama her mom was causing, like throwing a fit because my husband was walking her down the aisle and not her, and because she was asked not to have her phone out during the ceremony, and because my stepdaughter wanted me to walk down the aisle too, among other things. Basically, she wanted everything her way and was giving my stepdaughter shit if she didn't get it. This woman even went as far as to call and leave a screaming message on my husband's voicemail. My husband and I have been married for 10 years and have 2 kids of our own, so it's not like I'm a new fixture in this situation. I've been in my stepdaughter's life since she was 10 years old. Oh, so she's only 20.
That's young,
Anyway,
yeah.
fast forward to the wedding. Bio mom, let's call her Tracy, misses the rehearsal. So when it's time for the ceremony, I casually state that since she's walking down the aisle first, she should sit at the end seat so that the rest of us could file in sequentially. You know, common sense. She proceeds to scream at me, telling me she will not be sitting at the end and I will not be telling her where to sit. I was shocked. I didn't mean it to be disrespectful. It just made sense.
You
to
could
do
have
it
said
that way.
anything. You could have been like,
Yeah.
you should keep breathing. She'd be like, I will not be told how to live.
There was a brief exchange I barely remember because I was so shocked and pissed, and I assumed that would be the end of it. At the reception, I heard her talking shit to one of the groom's family members. I decided I wasn't going to be walked on anymore, so I went up to her and I said, you know what, Tracy? This is your daughter's wedding. Do you think you could act like an adult and save the drama for another day? She freaked
bet
out
that
again.
worked.
Yeah.
Oh,
and said
weird.
she would make a scene if I really wanted her to. So I replied by saying, I think you've done a good enough job at that over the past week. Once the wedding was over, I thought we had left the drama there. Apparently, I was wrong. I called my mother-in-law to make sure she could still watch my kids while I went in for an EEG because I've had some scary health issues lately. She didn't answer or return my calls. She wouldn't answer my husband's calls either. My mother-in-law and Tracy are still pretty close, probably because they're both immature children that feed off drama. My mother-in-law wasn't even at the wedding, nor had we done anything to her to warrant that kind of treatment. Because I had no one else to watch my kids on such short notice, I had to reschedule
Mom,
for over.
She called the mother-in-law, which is the mother of her husband.
To watch the kids.
She called her
yeah.
husband's.
The bride
No,
called
the woman writing in, the 38-year-old.
is the bride.
No, is the stepmom. So
Oh,
she
right,
called her
right.
husband's mom to say, watch the kids. But the husband's mom is still close with the ex-wife,
Right.
Tracy,
Right.
who's a B.
Right.
That's where we are.
And she has to watch it. Okay, but you also didn't say after. You said did she make a scene at the wedding? That was kind of
Thought they'd moved on. She's like, apparently
moved
not.
on.
She's like, I called my mother-in-law to say, watch the kids. Mother-in-law isn't talking to me because her and Tracy are close.
Right. Okay.
Meanwhile, I have no idea what I did or didn't do or what kind of crazy lies are being told about me to get back at me for standing up to Tracy for once. My husband says
You know
he's
what you
done
did.
with his mom because this kind of behavior is not uncommon. Am I crazy for letting this bother me so much? I really want to know WTF is going on. How would you approach
No.
this situation? Thank you for your infinite wisdom. Sincerely, Deborah.
You know what's going on, Deb. You know what's going on. You spooked this woman who's an idiot and a child. It upset her. Her mom is going to be on her side, and they're just going to be the weirdo sisters together. I don't understand why everything was right. And you're like, I don't understand what happened. You do understand. You stood up for yourself, and this woman couldn't handle it. To be fair to her, she's probably stressed. It's the wedding day. She's feeling disrespected. She is 100% not married, I promise you. Because somebody who is married, because this woman is all by herself, she's feeling outnumbered. She doesn't like you. She doesn't like that you have her ex-husband and you have kids.
Sure.
You
Well,
probably-
remember, she was married to him for 10 years, and you were married to him for 10 years. So from her perspective, 50-50. So that's why she wanted to walk her daughter down the aisle.
Yeah, and she's
You're
not
not
getting
with
to.
the daughter any more than she
Yeah,
was.
this has less to do with you and you coming in and being calm and saying that stuff to her. She'll probably never forgive you.
irksome, very irksome.
But you know what you did. And to say you did anything wrong, but you know what you did.
And the fact that you asked her mother to watch your kids, while yes, they
Well, it's
are
the
half
grandmother.
her, right? They're
His-
half hers,
His mother.
but they're still. Yeah, I'm sorry, but
it's the
but
grandmother.
still, right. But it's still.
She probably was like, Mom, I don't want you watching their kids. Like you're taking her side over mine. And you know what? That's okay. When grandma wants to have a relationship with the kids, she can come back around, but you just kind of need to let your husband also defend this
The husband
and
has
deal
to
with
step
it.
in. That's it. It's not you.
You, after all of these years, and look, you weren't trying to be a peacemaker. You were trying to be like, by the way, you're not going to do this to me. And this is what you got. And you messed with the bull and you got the horns, shitty horns. But you know what happened.
I'm
So-
interested that the bride has not stepped in and say, you know what, and made a decision like who should walk her down the aisle. Because
She did. She decided that it was going to be the
That's
dad.
hurtful to the mother.
That is
'Cause it
hurtful.
is
But a lot of
50-50.
people, I did that, but a lot of people don't see it that way. Maybe it wasn't. Or maybe it was, you don't know how they grew up and you don't know the relationship. It is a message you send, but it is not a modern, like it's a very modern thing to be like, how about both parents versus just the dad? A lot of people opt for just the dad. It's more traditional. All you can decide is your behavior from here on out. That's it. Limiting the amount, and you don't have to have an interaction with this woman because the child that you maybe had in common, being your stepdaughter, is married. She's grown up. You never have to have holidays with her or anything. You have your own family. You know what happened. You know how she is, and you have to decide to move on. And your husband can deal with it. That's it. You're just there to support him.
Bottom line is the husband.
Yeah.
He has to step in.
Don't
And
get
so far,
involved.
it doesn't sound like he has stepped in at all. This is a cat fight.
You stood up with yourself for yourself, and that's okay. But you didn't stand up for yourself. But you got a couple jabs in there, which, by the way, I am not above it. I probably would have done worse or just been like, ew, you're acting like a freak. So you said what you said. She knows you were right. It hurt. There was a ton of tumult that day.
I
You
think
can just
it's
move on.
interesting that his mother is still friends with his wife. I get that she liked her, but hanging on for 10 years after it's over when they're in different life spaces, who's really the hanger-oner? Is it his mother or is it the wife that's calling his mother all the time and trying to stay in the picture more?
Yeah, something's going on.
Something's going on with that.
Just focus on being there. That's it. Maybe the mother-in-law and the ex-wife are two peas in a pod. Let them rot in that pod.
Yeah, I'm still saying there's a reason why that
Yeah,
ex-wife
she probably
is still
talks
hanging
trash
on.
and there's someone to commiserate
Hanging
with
on.
and they got along and you're the new woman and you'll never be the same. But whatever. You've got your own things to deal with. These are crazy people. You don't want to be friends with her anyway.
That
Do you-
ex-wife has had 10 years to move on.
10 years to simmer. You want her calling you to be like, hey, I just want to apologize. I hope we can be friends. You'd be like, no way,
We
psycho.
can't be friends.
Yeah. You know what you did and you know what you need to do. We're right here
Kick
for
it.
you.
Top of the
Who said
cup.
kick
To order every meal kit we tell you to order. Top of the cup.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite. Top of the cob.
My bottom of the cob was when booking flights for this Europe trip. We're doing all these cities in Europe. I thought traveling in the EU is easy. And I think what they mean by easy is that like you don't need your passport or like it's all just one big country, even though it's many countries and whatever. It's an hour flight. Europe's so small. But it is difficult because there aren't that many flights. And as an American, I'm used to tons of options all the time. But every single flight is like flying LA to Pittsburgh. Like there's one flight and it's at like $250. There's certain countries you'd think would be going back and forth a lot, like Hungary to the Czech Republic. It's like, no, we have one flight. It's at 3. Good luck.
That's
And
because they're still recovering from the Iron Curtain.
I'm just saying, but this is all over. This is Vienna to Copenhagen. Like there's just tons of, please don't text me about that one in particular. You look at Europe and you're like, great, I'll take trains everywhere. It's like, yeah, maybe in like parts of Western Europe, but in general, like you got one flight, it's Ryanair, you're getting into Oslo at 4 p.m. Good luck.
That's
So,
your top of the cob.
my
or your
bottom of the
bottom?
cob was that I thought every time I go to Europe, I'm like, this will be a continental breeze. And it ain't.
Mm-mm.
My bottom of the cob, steamed spinach. That's it. It's just wilted fiber. You don't try to dress it up with garlic. Don't. It's just dead fiber. I don't like it. I don't like the taste of it. I don't like it in my mouth. I don't like anything about it.
Okay.
That's it. Always the bottom, next to asparagus.
Emily, go ahead.
Okay, my bottom is cat related, but specifically that Rizzoli will jump. If I bend over to pick up a box or something, he'll jump on my back, which was cute until now he started doing it when I get out of the shower. So when a cat jumps on your skin with their claws and then digs in to stay,
Your wet, vulnerable skin.
my back is bleeding all the time.
Are you bent over or are you standing up?
I'm bent
That's
over.
even sadder.
I know.
Oh.
It's so sad. That's like how cat ladies die, right? He's going to like jump. I'm going to hit my head on the tub. He's going to like.
Yes.
you
Well,
know
here's
what
an
I mean?
idea.
You're going to die naked and
Why don't
wet.
you close the door when you're
Then
taking
he
a
just
shower?
stands outside and screams. So I just need
She's
to.
in an abusive relationship.
Abusive relationship.
Now the dog is locked out. No, the dog is outside.
I'm looking at the dog.
Oh, then someone else is scratching at the door. Okay. What's your top of the cob?
My top of the cob.
No, let's get
And the
Emily's
reason
out of
it
the
was
way.
spinach is
We're gonna get
because
Emily's
it's-
out of the way. It's going to bother me. It's going to be tepid at best. It's going to be like that crinkle of unwrapping a Twix, but the left one.
What is it?
My top of the cob is that doorbell cameras are now so prevalent, and somebody rings the doorbell and I can pull it up and go, guys in suits, those are those Jehovah's Witnesses back to get me, and I'm not falling for it this time. I love never answering the door, looking at the person and then going, nope, not worth it.
I feel that way about caller ID. I feel that way about having eyeballs. Go ahead.
Oh, my top of the cob? My top of the cob, it relates to the spinach because of the holidays. My top of the cob is all the grazing, delicious foods that you can have one of this, one of that, one of the other thing. You're sitting there having a glass of wine, and you say, I think I'm going to have some sesame encrusted cashews. Oh, I'm going to have some roasted olives from Sardinia. You know, all kinds of interesting little taste delights that you don't really have to fill up on.
They were
But
grilled
they-
in from Trader Joe's.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say that. But they were delicious.
They were delicious. They came via Trader Joe's.
They were tasty.
But all those there was a delicious mushroom brie with mushrooms in it, another ricotta cheese, something that had,
Nobody liked it. The lemon one,
they didn't like it.
nobody ate it.
That's because they wanted to save it for
It was
dessert.
too sweet. It was basically a piece
was
of cheesecake.
It was a piece of cheese. But the point is,
Everything else was scrumptious.
really scrumptious, delicious, different things, hummus and, and we had these Philippine things called lampas,
So wait,
which
say it
are like
again.
very
Say
skinny
Filipino.
egg rolls.
Just do it again. Just say
What is the problem?
Filipino.
Versus what?
Philippine.
From the Philippines.
Just say it.
No. The dish is not Filipino. It's from the Philippines. The person might be Filipino. And that's the end of that. It's all tasting different, delicious things. Rolled grape leaves.
We had
with
grape
Russian
leaves?
sa- No, you missed that one.
Where were it was my house.
Ew.
I ate them. And then
They were
dried
not rolled grape
apricots.
leaves in Schuldigong.
It's not the point.
Oh, okay. Because you were listing everything else Aunt Debbie brought.
I'm giving more examples of delicious
You're pulling in
things.
other
that you-
parties you remember from other times.
all the ideas
Birthday
of
cake.
women grazing. They love to graze and just eat little of this, little of that.
Oh, Aunt Debbie told you it's called girl dinner. She
That's
told
right.
you
It's
about
called
this.
girl dinner. Yeah.
My daughter held onto a pretzel stick she took around the living room onto the
because she
couch.
didn't like it.
I ate it though.
You ate everything. You did.
What? So? You're so against me eating. You're so anti anyone eating at any
That's
time.
not true. That's not true.
It is true.
Let's not get into
Let's
it.
get into it.
You come in eating a Sour Patch Kids, or you come
It was
in
a
eating
gift.
Okay, so it was a gift. You have to eat it.
You got to eat. You got to eat. How's this? Maybe I eat too much, but you eat too little.
I don't eat too little.
Okay. You have a problem.
What was that thing you just ate? That white thing that
I had an airhead.
Yeah.
I needed something sweet after the cornbread.
She makes fun of you for the crap you eat. This one doesn't stop.
It was just,
I'd
saved it.
Me. She had an
To my
Airhead.
credit, it had been sitting in the kitchen for 2 months and I'd saved it special.
For what?
today.
That's
for
because I
today. Okay.
For whenever.
For today. Her husband made this beautiful salad with
Which I ate. I ate the whole
arugula
thing.
and chicken and everything. She ate the entire thing and then had an Airhead. Anything else?
It was a baby airhead.
It was a baby.
It was a baby
It was a little
Airhead. And I did it. I want to say something. I did a really good workout yesterday and I posted, sorry folks, spoiler alert, we filmed this before Thanksgiving. I posted like, get it in so you can eat more dinner. And someone was like, you don't need to earn your food. And I'm like, I'm not earning my food. I'm earning my extra food. And yes, you do. This like postmodern American pop culture concept, like you can just eat whatever and it's always good. Calories in, calories out.
That's right.
And it's good to work out. You poop afterward, you feel good.
It's true.
And then you can eat more.
No,
but
that's
the way
not true.
women blindly get offended at like, you don't need to earn it. It's not about like,
No one's discussing earning.
awarded and earning it. I'm doing this so that I can get revved up, so that I can shovel
Eat
food
more.
in.
You can eat
Don't
more.
police my fucking diet.
Have
Mom.
to.
What's your top?
Just yelling at my mom now. Thanksgiving was yesterday and we're going out to the country tomorrow, but I started getting rid of all my pumpkins and our cleaning man said he would take all of them, which I thought was cool. Usually we would compost them, but we're leaving and he's got like all these plans for them. So I felt really good that we could
Yeah,
do
they
something
make a
with them.
sweet thing. They could
Yeah, he said
make
he's going to
candy
make
out
like
of
a
them.
candy out of it or
Everything.
something. I was like, great, take it away. So once I got rid of the pumpkins, I was like, well, is it the biggest deal if I bring out my candy cane Christmas garland that I put every year? So I started like doing little, because I won't be here for all of December. We have people staying here, but I started doing little touches and I was like, that's right. Getting to do the transitional decor where you go from fall into Christmas and you start to get into it.
Right.
Because even though I love fall decor, you start to feel like, you know what? I am tired of looking at this muted palette. Bring on Christmas. And then you live in the Christmas for so long that by the time like January 10th comes around, you're like, you know what? I am done being cozy. I'm ready for summer. So I like that it naturally kind of runs its course.
Well, that's interesting. And thanks to FDR, because Franklin Roosevelt decided that Thanksgiving should be on the third Thursday rather than the fourth Thursday of the month, because he said we needed a little more time between one holiday and the next.
Which
So that's
we
what
don't
we
have
had.
anymore. Now it's like
we
the
have
last
four.
bite of turkey, it's Christmas.
No,
Halloween's over, it's Christmas.
stop it. We used to be the third Thursday. It's now the third Thursday versus the fourth. If it were the fourth Thursday, then you have even less time for Christmas.
And I'm saying
This
they
day-
stretched it so that the second Thanksgiving's over. There's no break. It's just now it's Christmas. You have more Christmas now. That's like what retailers do. It's what everyone.
No, it gave you an extra week in between the holidays. Before you only had 3
And
weeks.
I'm saying there's no more betwixt. I'm saying now it's even longer Christmas because Christmas starts on Black Friday for most of us who celebrate.
Yes, but Black Friday would have been the 30th of November
Yeah.
instead of the 23rd of November. So it's an extra week you have of a breather before the next holiday.
And I'm saying there's no breather anymore.
Oh,
I'm
jeez.
saying that week has now been subsumed by Christmas. Christmas is longer now.
That's the point. It's further away, 4 weeks away instead of 3 weeks away.
No
See,
break.
You're killing me.
I think we're arguing the same thing.
You're saying 4 weeks is just another week to shop.
just another week to be Christmassy.
Okay, as opposed to 3 weeks.
Mhm.
Now you have 4.
Yeah, you have 4. Or Hanukkah.
We all have 4.
Um,
That much more time to have Christmas candy.
you have a thing.
You
against
mentioned it.
people
You
eating.
put out Christmas.
My mom was like,
stuff.
I got a pitch. How about instead of an all-you-can-eat restaurant, it's an all-you-should-eat. And we look at you and we decide how much you should be eating.
That sounds great. I'm sure people would love to
Sounds
attend.
reasonable. It's a great idea.
You walk in,
And
you're
all
like,
you should.
your frame's too big. Here's what you should eat.
They have 4 rows for the women that weigh 98 pounds, for the women that weigh 118 pounds, and it goes all the way up like that. And they're segregated by weight.
I really think I need to consume more calories than the average bear, pregnant or not, because they go to my brain.
How many calories do you think you use up in 1 hour of reformer?
Not many.
Exactly.
It's not about that. It's not about that.
Well, you mentioned calories, I'm saying.
I don't know, it was a pretty hard workout. I was sweating.
Okay. 200 calories?
I don't know.
A
I don't
cookie?
really think about it. You think about caloric intake. I don't think about it as much.
Well, okay.
Because I don't overeat, but I do enjoy my sugar. And I do think I have a special sugar metabolizing power. Although for a quick second she's saying I don't. For a quick second the other day, when I opened up my gestational diabetes results and I couldn't quite read it, I was like, oh no.
Oh,
I
no.
have them. I don't.
They don't.
no.
Which I knew it. And my doctor was like, all your test results look normal. And I almost wrote back, that's right. I knew it. Bill someone else.
We're not saying that she has gestation diabetes or that she's obese. I'm just saying you can eat less. That's all.
You could always eat less. But you could always.
Eat more.
There you go. 2 sides to every coin. You guys, this is what, episode 200? Some fan DM'd me. They were like, when will you have a podcast? I'm like, when will you click this link? Yeah, it breaks my heart.
It's like
I'm
270
sorry that-
something.
I'm sorry that I faithfully do this and consistently deliver good product and it's not my life. Sorry, I'm good at other things too. You guys, we love that you write in. We love seeing you at shows. And I love that we're closing out another year. I love that I'm going to revisit my licensing deal. We have a lot of fun promotion coming up. We got a lot of fun things planned for next year. And I'm really grateful to have this podcast. It's a really fun outlet. I mean, some of the stuff you write in with is really heavy, but I like that we're there for each other and I like what we've built here. So
I want to say something about that. You know, even though
there's no more
Thanksgiving is over.
The recorder's over.
Well, but
It's over.
we're not taping this.
There's
You're
no
just
more.
talking into nothing.
It ended.
Maybe she can put this in after, and that we should have
No,
gratitude
We don't have the
and
technology.
all that thankfulness that you have.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I think that even though Thanksgiving is over, sometimes we didn't get a chance to say what we were thankful for.
Oh.
But you have from now to another week or two to kind of reflect back
Thanks
and
to
say,
FDR. You have
"That's
an
right,
extra week.
that's right, we're thankful." And so, because of that,
He was the first Italian president.
who was the first?
FDR.
He's not Italian. What's wrong
Franklin
with you?
Delano.
No, not
Delano.
No, it's Delano, and it's Dutch. Maybe.
It's a joke.
But it wasn't a good
She's
one.
like, don't joke about the greatest president.
I didn't say he was the
New
greatest.
Deal and a chicken in every pot.
I
Don't
wasn't
make
saying
crap.
that he was the greatest. And history, that's not the point of the story.
I'm sorry.
The point is to be grateful and take a moment and say, gee, like you were just saying about the podcast, how you feel really, you have gratitude for being able to do this.
I do.
And I think that's great. And sometimes we're so bifurcated. And if there's something more than bifurcated in this country, everybody's complaining. Everybody wants something for themselves. Everybody's, what about me? What about me? What about me? Well, my feelings are hurt and my feelings are hurt. Oh, get the fuck over it. You know, just move on. Move on. You have food in your mouth. You have a roof over your head. And if you're not, get one.
Too much food.
Too much food.
My mom's like, the point is be grateful and you could eat less.
You could eat less. Do you know the thing we waste most in this country is food? The amount of food that gets thrown out in pounds is
We know. Yeah, we
enormous.
know.
So
Food
be
waste is an
grateful
issue.
and quit saying, I didn't get enough. We just saw this whole thing on Kennedy because of his assassination anniversary was, I guess, last week.
Why would we celebrate that?
It was a commemoration of his life. And the point being, his famous line is, ask not what you can do for your country. I mean, ask not what your country can do for you.
But what
Ask
you
what
can
you
do for
can
your
do for your country. And people forgot that.
People forgot that.
They forgot. He started the Peace Corps. He started Volunteers in Service to America. People stopped. They didn't ask. They didn't ask why. They asked why not, and they did things. And yes, we're always a work in progress. America is a work in progress. We are, whatever it is. Black rights, Jewish rights, Puerto Rican rights, Hispanic acknowledgement, Asian rights. Everybody wants their own piece of the pie. You're going to get it. It comes. But just quit bitching about it. That's all. Be grateful what you have. You don't like it here? I hate to say go someplace else, but try it someplace else. See how it goes. Then come back if you want to.
Yeah.
That's
Take
all.
that vacation to Nova Scotia. See how you feel.
You may like Nova Scotia, but you may not like Pakistan. You may not like Israel, but give it a try. See what you like. That's all.
Happy New Year, everybody.
It's time to have your high five moment with High Five Casino, the top social casino where the action and real prizes never stop. Fun spins and big wins are right at your fingertips with over 1,000 games, including High Five Casino exclusives. High Five Casino is always free to play with free coins given out every 4 hours. Sign up today and get free welcome coins you can spin for a chance at cash prizes. Visit highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.